we were talking about, this is my take on a green man. Those of you who know your anthropology and sociology and social history know that the green man is one of the archetypal images of, boy, I'm boring you to pieces again. I wanted to let you know that I do two kinds of pictures. There are the drawings that test me artistically, that stretch my technical ability, that challenge me in my chosen medium. And then there are the ones that sell well in the marketplace. This one's called fast food. It's fast and it's made of food. That differs from the green man in that the green man is made of green stuff. Green man, fast food. Like I said, one of these challenges me artistically, the other one does well in the marketplace. You can probably guess which one is which. I never can. I never know when I draw a picture whether people are going to get the joke, appreciate the artistry, and give me money for it so I can do it again. As a result, with every single picture that I draw, I try and make it as artistically challenging as I can. I try and do my very, very best work, and I try very hard to make sure it speaks directly to the target audience. Another way of saying that is I try and get people to pay for it. Now, if that sounds like I'm taking the concept of fine art and blurring it with the concept of commercial art, you're right. I do that a lot because I don't know where one starts and the other ends. Something you need to know as an artist. Every one of you has made a wonderful piece of art or you wouldn't be here. In fact, you've probably made many wonderful pieces of art, and the very best one this year allowed you to make this trip. What you need to keep in mind at all times, just because you made a wonderful piece of art doesn't mean that people will automatically provide you the means to make another one. Does that make sense? You know you're wonderful, your parents know you're wonderful, nobody else cares about you or your art. Except your art teacher, they know you're wonderful too. Therefore, if you want to embark upon a profession in the arts, it becomes your number one priority to communicate with everyone outside of your family how wonderful you are, how wonderful your art is, and how clear your vision is and how it will improve their lives. That's actually your job. You're going to make the art anyway. You're going to put the heart and soul and mind into it anyway. What you're going to have to do is to convince others that you need a reason to be supported to continue to do the wonderful things you're already doing. To that end, how many of you want to be professional artists? How many of you plan to go to art school? Mom, Dad, did you notice that? Lots more hands went up. I'm going to art school. Do you want to be a professional artist? I'm not so sure about that. Well, that's very interesting, because before you can really answer those questions, you probably should understand that there are certain drawbacks to being an artist in our society. Many people have already tagged you the minute you say, I'm an artist. They've already pegged you as a lazy, laconic loser. If you were truly energetic and creative, you'd have a job. Now, of course, just judging from this picture, there are apparently some happy, lazy, laconic losers. And I know a few of them. My wife always told me that when she had her first studio in Dallas, she could always tell who on her floor. She was in one of those warehouses that had been refurbished for art studio space, and she could always tell who the serious artists were and who the ones were who were working on themselves as a work of art. Because at 5 o'clock, you could hear all the doors slamming all the way down the hall. Those people were jumping out to go to the bars down on the Strip. The ones that actually had contracts and jobs and deadlines were the ones who still had their lights on late into the evening. Without putting too fine a point on it, if you graduate with a science degree, you ask, why does it work? An engineer asks, how does it work? An accountant asks, how much will it cost? A graduate with a business degree says, what's the profit margin? And a person with an art degree says, do you want fries with that? I'm going to let this slide stay up there for a couple of more seconds because there's actually more truth to this than we care to admit. As many, in any given year, as many as 98% of people who hold a degree in art are not in a job that produces art. That means only 2 to 5% of people that have an arts degree are actually doing it. If that were the case with engineers or scientists, there'd be congressional investigations all over the place. I don't know if you've checked the price tag lately, but college costs between $10,000 and $100,000. That's an investment in your future. If you have that art degree, you need to find some way to make it pay, not just for the tuition, but for you to keep making art for the rest of your life. That's the negative side of the story. On the plus side, we artists have big hearts. We think with our hearts more than our brains. We are highly trained, highly skilled workers. We're constantly challenged to think differently and to communicate our ideas in inventive and expressive ways. Working from the heart, and of course, from our brains and our computers. There we go. Two sides to your brain, traditionally speaking. The left side, where we do all the counting and accounting and bean counting sort of things. And then the right side that we're all in this room, other than some of our parents, comfortable with, the artsy side. This is where we live. We're creative. We come up with fanciful things that may or may not get us through school and may or may not get us paid. But it's who we are and it's what we do. We can't avoid this, and we don't need to avoid it. We need to nurture it as much as we can. The thing is, whether we get educated or not, we're going to be using this side of our brain. Arts education gives us more of the tools to have broader methods of expression. But if we're stuck with a